Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast. I'm Tanya, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. We are diving into a super important topic: how leaders and individual employees contribute to workplace well-being. Have you ever wondered how much impact a leader really has on your happiness at work? And what about personal resilience? How much of your own happiness is within your control? Well, we are going to talk about that today, so let's jump in. Welcome to the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast. Do you want better work-life balance? Do you get stuck in patterns of perfectionism and people-pleasing? Have you always been an overachiever but never really felt good enough, no matter how much outward success you achieve? Do you want more time for the things that matter most? Well, you are in the right place. Here on the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast, we focus on spirit-driven success and share the secrets to having better work-life balance as a busy woman in leadership. Here you will learn how to set boundaries like a boss, find peace of mind, and reclaim your time for the things that matter most. Hi, I'm Tanya, a wife, mom, leader, and certified Christian life coach. For most of my life, I tried to find worthiness through achievement. I spent decades people-pleasing and pouring myself into my work. I was looking for my value through the approval of others. This led me to feel burned out, empty, and exhausted. I had no time or energy for myself or my family. I realized that I was wasting time and energy looking for validation in all the wrong places. But my life changed when I finally surrendered and God showed me a different way. It is my mission to help you start living the abundant life God has for you. If you're ready to become fueled by grace and find freedom from people-pleasing, if you're ready to multiply your time and impact as a Christian woman in leadership, this podcast is for you. Roll up your sleeves, sister friends. It's time to get after it. Okay, let's start with leadership. There are 3 key areas where leaders can really make or break the work experience for their teams. First, creating a positive work environment. Good leaders can create a positive culture. Research shows that leaders who inspire and motivate their teams, what we call transformational leaders, are rock stars at boosting job satisfaction and well-being. Think about a leader who actually cares about the work environment, who makes it supportive, inclusive, and empowering. It's a game changer, right? If you've ever experienced that, either as an employee or in your own leadership. The second way that a leader can create positive culture is through support and recognition. Here's the deal. People want to feel valued. When we as leaders take the time to recognize and support their team members, it's a huge boost to morale. It's not just about the paycheck. Knowing that your efforts are seen and appreciated really makes a difference. A third way leaders can support a positive work experience for their team members is by promoting work-life balance. Leaders who advocate for, demonstrate, and support work-life balance can significantly impact their employees' sense of well-being. This might include offering flexible work schedules when you can, and understanding personal commitments. Encouraging employees to maintain a healthy balance between work and personal life leads to reduced stress and improved overall well-being. I will tell you, this one has taken some time and some personal work for me to internalize. I come from a very traditional background in the way of work ethic, and I do believe that good, hard work is important, and I believe it is God-honoring. There are ways in which our culture has shifted a bit too far away from that perspective, in my opinion. But I also know the personal implications of swinging too far the other direction. My husband and I both have really burned the candle on both ends for decades. And there is a price we pay when we are too far out of balance. It is definitely true of the workforce today that there's an expectation held by most frontline team members that their time away from work is honored, supported, and protected, you will not see as many people interested in or willing to put in a bunch of overtime, even if it means making a good extra chunk of change in their pockets. This can be a challenge for leaders, especially in an era where it is difficult to find an adequate number of staff. But there still exists a responsibility to serve customers and meet demands. Leading well is difficult, but so important when it comes to establishing a healthy work culture. But let's be clear. An employee's experience at work is not and cannot be solely reliant on their leadership. There is a significant role we all play in determining our own individual experience. So let's talk about the role of the individual. While leadership plays a crucial role, individual resilience and coping skills are equally important. Employees who have strong coping mechanisms and a positive outlook are better equipped to handle workplace challenges. I have to tell you a little personal story about this topic from a recent staff meeting that I had. I was leading a meeting for a large group of our frontline team members, and the meeting was dedicated to two topics. The first was some discussion around the business of what we do, and the second was around employee engagement and satisfaction. I spoke to how our team members are our highest priority because they are the key to being able to serve our patients. I spoke to how we want team members to feel good about walking through the door, at least most days. I spoke to how we as leaders have plenty of opportunity when it comes to making changes that create a positive work environment, and that we cannot and will not be able to do it alone. We need the partnership of our team members. So to make that point, I played a video from the Covey Institute. The video speaks to the number one habit of highly effective people, according to Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Habit number 1 is to be proactive instead of reactive. And he paints the picture of how there is a space between our circumstances and our life experiences. A space where we have the freedom to choose our response to our circumstances. And it's in that choice and that response where true freedom lives to determine our life experience. Now, before showing that video, I acknowledge that I know there are already many of our team members who understand and live this principle. That there are some of us who still have opportunity to learn and apply it, and that there are those that may never understand its significance. I acknowledge that there will be some head nodders and some eye rollers in the group, and having known the people I lead for many years, I could predict with almost certainty which those would be, by the way. Unfortunately, the eye rollers are those who would benefit most if they were willing to be influenced by a different perspective and willing to apply this principle in their lives. It is not overstating it when I say that it can be life-changing. Whether inside the walls of your work or in life in general, you will be doing yourself a big favor and those around you if you learn to stop giving control to circumstances and other people when it comes to determining how you experience life and work. So that's my soapbox. Most of my audience was pretty engaged and receptive. Several responded as I expected, and it used to be sad for me as a leader to deal with people who choose misery on a regular basis, but now I'm truly sad for them. They could choose something so much different for themselves, so much better, something that is not reliant upon their circumstances, but rather on their own response. Now, the second individual variable that contributes to one's work experience is the level of autonomy and control that we have or that we perceive to have. The degree of control and autonomy employees have over their work significantly impacts their well-being. When employees feel they have a say in their tasks and some of the decision-making processes, they experience higher job satisfaction, according to research. Leaders can support this by empowering employees, encouraging initiative, and fostering an environment where input is valued and acted upon. Now, there are aspects of every job that do not allow for a great level of autonomy. That's just a reality, but it's important for us as leaders to identify those areas in which we can empower our people to feel some level of control and some level of autonomy over their work. We also need to recognize the degree to which things outside of work can impact our team members. So that's another factor in determining someone's work experience. Factors outside of work, such as personal relationships, health, other external stressors, also play a significant role in an individual's sense of well-being. These things can either mitigate or exacerbate the impact of workplace conditions on someone's overall happiness. Encouraging a well-rounded approach to well-being where employees are supported in balancing personal and professional life is essential when we understand the impact that personal factors have on people's capacity to engage at work. Now, an additional and essential element for me is my foundation of faith. A foundation of faith can significantly contribute to one's sense of well-being at work. Faith often provides a sense of purpose, community, and support, which are crucial for overall happiness and contentment. And in my experience, from what I've seen with others, faith can offer a really deep well of resilience and peace, especially in challenging times. When we lead with faith-inspired values like integrity, kindness, and respect, we create a work environment where people feel safe and valued. Now, this doesn't mean preaching at work, but instead living out our faith values. It makes such a big difference in how people feel about their jobs and their lives in general. I love how the Bible gives us guidance on how we should approach work. Colossians chapter 3 verses 23 through 24 tells us, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters." It's such a great reminder that our work is ultimately for God. And when we approach it with that mindset, it changes everything. Proverbs chapter 16 verse 3 encourages us to commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. This reminds us that our work should be dedicated to God, seeking His guidance and blessing in our professional endeavors. Ephesians chapter 6 verses 7 through 8 encourages us to serve wholeheartedly, as if you were serving the Lord, not people, because you know that the Lord will reward each one for whatever good they do. This highlights the importance of serving with integrity and diligence, knowing that our ultimate reward comes from God. So in summary, a good or positive work experience is a partnership. Effective leadership combined with strong individual resilience and mindset creates the best conditions for employee sense of well-being. While we as leaders can set the stage for a positive work environment, individuals must also take responsibility for their own personal growth and resilience. Like I said, it's a partnership. Leaders provide the resources and the environment, and employees engage in the practices that will enhance their own well-being. So let's talk about some actionable tips for leaders. Number 1, foster a positive, inclusive, and empowering work culture. Number 2, give regular feedback and recognition to help keep employee morale as high as you can. Number 3, promote and demonstrate work-life balance. Honor your team members' personal roles and commitments. And number 4, lead with your faith-inspired values like integrity and grace and respect and kindness. Now, how about some tips for employees? Number 1, build personal resilience. Focus on self-growth, practicing mindfulness, and learning stress management techniques. Number 2, take initiative and communicate your needs. Number 3, learn to balance personal and professional life. And number 4, lean on your faith for strength and purpose and endurance. So to wrap it up, both leadership and individual effort matter when it comes to employees feeling a sense of well-being. Leaders create the environment, but employees have to take ownership of their own experience. And when we both show up and work together, we can create something pretty awesome. Folks, I hope that this message resonated with you. And as always, I pray that the Lord fills you with gratitude, peace, and His amazing grace. I pray this episode blessed you, spoke to you, or encouraged you in some way. If so, please share it with a friend and head on over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. That's the only way for me to know if you're enjoying the show. Nothing blesses me more than to hear from you. Also, come on over to our free Facebook community. This is a great place for us to support one another on our faith and leadership journeys. You can find the link to the group in the show notes or go to gracefilledleader.com/community. If you have questions or content ideas for the show, please send me a message on SpeakPipe or via email. Go to gracefilledleader.com/contact and leave a written or voice recorded message. I would love to know how I can best serve you on the podcast. Now to Him who can do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3, verse 20. Until next time, my friends, God bless.